Right, welcome back to Morning Live. Now, when it comes to education for your kids, you want to make sure that they have the best education possible. There are three choices that you, as a parent, can make for your child's education. Those are public school, private school, and homeschooling. For many parents in Kenya, private school is out of budget. Public schooling is affordable for majority of moms and dads. But have you ever considered homeschooling? Information on homeschooling in Kenya is pretty scanty. We want to make it easier for you. In studio, I'm joined by Mark Smith, Nancy Rono, who is a parent, and of course, Joseph Rono, who's also a student undergoing through the homeschooling. And I'll start with Nancy Rono, who is a parent, and she's involved actually hands-on to make sure that indeed this is achieved with some consistency. Nancy, good morning.
Morning to
And
you,
before I just proceed with my questions, I must say congratulations, because by the time you get the guts to homeschool your kid, that's a lot of confidence you have in yourself and of course in the system. Maybe you can tell us now, first of all, what is homeschooling?
Homeschooling, we can also say it is like home education. Yeah, it's actually educating your child at home.
Okay.
And the flexibility that the home environment provides for a child to be able to thrive and to be all that God created them to be. So that's basically what homeschooling is. It's not bringing school home, but home educating your child using whatever curriculum that is available. Yes.
Now, there must be a reason why you chose this method, because you can see 95% of parents out here take their kids to school, but there must be a reason why you opted for homeschooling.
Okay. One of the main reasons, of course, was to pass our values to our children.
Okay.
My husband was, the kind of job he did made us move around a lot. So that stability was very important. And we wanted a curriculum, or rather environment where we could pass our values down to our children. And so that was the main thing. Of course, another reason was the curriculum which I grew up in also evolved. I grew up with the IGCE system. At one point, of course, the other system was introduced, and excellent system. But my challenge was that they removed some of the important aspects of our student, or rather a child, and that's developing the gifts and talents. And I think you're aware that at one point they removed the art subjects, the music and the art and
agriculture,
and agriculture, which we grew up with. I mean, we did all those, and I just felt that that was not going to be fair for our children. Because I believe that God has given them gifts and talents, and as much as they need to develop intellectually, they also need to develop their gifts and talents, which absolutely God placed in each one of them. Yes, so that was actually our main conviction, and also that we needed to pass our values to our children. Yes. Interesting.
Now, your son, Rono.
Yes.
Good morning, bro.
Morning to you.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay, I can imagine. Yeah, so how is it for you from the start? Did you realize that indeed you're taking this at home and you're wondering, Mom or Dad, other kids are going to school, why am I at home? Did you question?
Yes, I actually did. I questioned for some time, but over time we got to understand, me and my siblings, that it was the decisions my parents made for us, and they want the best for us. So we decided to just go with it.
Yeah. Mark Smith, good morning, bro.
Morning.
You good?
Yes.
Okay, now, some question for Joseph, because now, how was your reaction? Because you're from Mombasa, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, in Mombasa, it's crazy because now we have it's a cosmopolitan, metropolitan actually society, whereby different religion, so many things are happening in Mombasa. Now, how was your reaction when now you realized other people are going to school, but you're at home?
Sincerely speaking, I was okay with it.
Wow, okay.
Because waking up in the morning to work at home, not getting out in a cold weather, was quite great.
Look at Joseph, the reaction, you love that? Okay, interesting. Now, looking at also how you manage to interact with the kids walking to school, have you ever tried to ask them, what do you guys do in school? Have they maybe been inquisitive to you to ask you what you do at home?
No, because I have cousins.
Okay.
They normally go to the normal schools. So when they come home, they normally say how their day was. So at least I know what they do in schools.
Yes. Okay. Now, back to Mom. Looking at the curriculum, you know that's the most important thing. At the end of the day, they have to develop with some values, some also skills also inculcated into them. So many things, actually. How is the curriculum actually achieved here?
The curriculum we actually used is the Accelerated Christian Education curriculum, and which actually delivers the things that we wanted for our children. It is based on it's individually paced education and student-directed, student-centered. And so what this means actually is that it doesn't depend on the teacher. The student actually learns by themselves. That's how they start the learning program from when they are in kindergarten all the way to high school. And their paces, which are called actually workbooks, are tailor-made.
We should look looking at it later on.
We should be looking at They're actually tailor-made to teach, to help the student learn by themselves. So they have teaching strips, they have exercises that they do, and all I do as a parent is supervise to ensure that they've achieved their goals, because they set goals also for themselves. And we, of course, we give them guidance so that they don't underset, you know, and so on and so forth. So they grow up really independent in their learning and even in their research and so on and so forth. So that's why that worked best for us. That the way it is tailored, you know, it covers all the subjects. And just helps the child to develop confidence in learning by themselves. They don't have to depend on me to teach them. And this they start at kindergarten. Yes. So the foundation is very strong in terms of teaching reading skills, because when they start with 36 phonic sounds. They don't do, you know, they just the a, e, o, u. They do the blends, they do all the sounds. So by the time a child is probably 5 and a half, they can read. Yeah, because they'll be reading for themselves the rest of the curriculum.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. Now, looking at the private schools, institutions in this country, parents do dig deep into their pockets just to make sure the kids are going to school. How expensive is it, or how cheap is it at home?
I think it just depends on the parent, and that's the good thing, the flexibility that this offers. I think it's expensive as much as you want it to. In our case, I think we invested also in their like I said, the extracurricular, the music, the art. And like Joseph here has done music. They've actually all done music, but he's the one who has developed that great interest in piano and guitar. And of course, the others have also done piano. So I think depending on that interest you see in your child, that's where the investment comes. If you see a child is good in art, you will invest in an art teacher. You'll invest in art material. And if it is sports, the same thing. If it is swimming and so on and so forth. And I think now that takes me to the other point, that this curriculum offers a platform where children can actually express their talents, and we have like a 1-week convention where we have over 147 events that children can actually participate in. So we have categories in music, in needle and thread, in art, in sports, in academics, photography, and so on and so forth. And it's amazing that even through this platform, some of the gifts that come out are things that the children do after they are done with their high school. And they're able to focus in tertiary education. They know what they want to do and why they want to do it. So there is really not, it's not iffy. We are able to develop to the point where the parent can also identify, you know, Mark is a musician, or you know, he loves to sing vocals, and we have all that. And probably Joseph loves music, and other students. So you are able at a very early age to determine the bent of this student. And so as a parent, you're able to now nurture that. Yes.
Joseph, maybe you can tell us, it seems like you already know what you want to do.
Yeah, in life. Yes, I do.
It's too early. I think it's too early. I'm not blaming the system I was in, but still, at some point, even after Form 4, I was so confused of what I want to do. But look at you, how old are you?
I'm 16.
Wow, I already know what you want to do. So,
Yes.
looking at the progress you have so far, Mom has mentioned piano, the music segment. Do you still want to go that direction? Are you sure you want to go that direction?
Yes. Yes. When I started school, like when I started my high school, I used to be passionate about engineering and just mechanics and electrical, all that.
Yeah.
But as I started to get older, I developed my interest in music.
Okay.
And I feel like that's the path I want to go.
Okay.
I'm not sure where in music I want to go yet, but I know it's down that path.
All right,
Yeah.
interesting. Mark, just back to you. You must have a desire. And from what we've just heard about homeschooling, there's a niche of which your parents are leading you to. So what's yours? What's your passion? What do you want to be?
I'm planning, before I enter high school, I'll just work on my music. And then, I mean, once I enter university, I'll take a degree in sports science. And a music bachelor.
Music bachelor.
Yes.
So you're doing both too?
Yes.
You want to be a factotum? Okay, interesting. All right, let's take a break right here on Morning Live. But when you come back, it seems like what Nancy Ron has told us, a mom to Joseph, is that it's similar to the CBC, what the government is trying to push in our schools, because now it's hands-on, and of course, there's some inclination of talent and the intellectual angle. So we'll be expounding more on that after a short break. So stay tuned to Morning Live. All right, interesting conversation right here at the break, because now they're also FIFA enthusiasts. They can play FIFA big time. Anyway, I talk for another day. So back to Mom, let's talk about examining, because now this is the most important part, where at least assessment can gauge where the progress is. So how is that done?
Okay, the curriculum is such that we have it comes with everything, that marking scheme and so on and so forth. So really depending on the integrity of the one offering the tutoring. And they do continuous assessment tests. Okay, like for example in math, they have 12 booklets.
Wow.
And like for high school, they start at 1085. So this 1085 booklet, there's a mark that you're supposed to actually achieve that will actually give me the information that this child has learned. There's a pass mark of 80% that they need to achieve at the end of each booklet. If they get less than that, it means that there's a learning gap. So this child should repeat the whole pace, which is the booklet actually. So the marks they get is an indication to the one offering the education that there's either a learning gap, and not that they failed, that there's a learning gap and we need to address that learning gap. And so even as you go back and see where the learning gap was, then you're able to help the child. So there's a pass mark of 80, and in the case of word building, it's 90%. Yes.
Interesting.
So it's continuous assessment, because basically they are not learning to just have information, they're learning to develop themselves. And so for me, the learning is measured by what they get, and it's not necessarily that they failed or so on. So the failure is really a lack of probably understanding the concept. Yes.
And do you pay someone? Do you do it yourself?
I do it myself.
Wow.
Yes, yes. There's training. The head office offers training. We have a head office in Garden Estate where all the materials and all the training happens. So if you show interest in homeschooling, there's a training that you go through. And of course, there's also a lot of monitoring and regulation, so that people are not doing their own things. We moderate students' works every end of term. And like, for example, I'm kind of in charge of 50 homeschools in Mombasa Road region. So At the end of the term, every parent comes, even if you have a tutor.
So this is a big thing.
No, this is just Mombasa Road. There are many homeschools, and this is just those who are using AC curriculum. We are actually almost 180 probably and above using AC curriculum, but there are many using. You can even use 844. You can use any other curriculum, so long as it is tailored to help this child be the person that God created them to be and bring them to that place of fulfillment,
now,
and productivity.
Yeah, sure. Being closer to your parent at home, do you feel there's pressure? You know, for us guys, when we were growing up, we used to be canned. You know, that was a long time ago when the punishment was just either you go dig some ditch somewhere, you go like do some very funny things just to make sure at least you're disciplined, which is very awkward actually. Now, have you ever maybe tried to, just from experience, maybe you felt something and you felt like maybe mom or dad wants to discipline me or something? I mean, how was it maybe for you?
Okay.
Is that discipline first of all?
Okay, I've not understood the question very well. Could you repeat, please?
Yeah, discipline. Okay. Now, for example, you know, us guys used to be canned. For example, I can say below mathematics below 50%, you're subject to some punishment. You know what I mean? So, in the house while you're doing all these things, have you ever tried maybe when you sleep somewhere, mom or dad comes so tough on you?
Actually, not. It's very rare.
Okay. It's very rare.
Yes.
Because you get everything right.
No, I don't get everything right.
Okay.
But I never go below 80%.
Wow.
Actually, I've never been below 90.
90.
Yes.
Wow. Interesting. Hey, Joseph, what's your story here? Have you ever maybe kind of slept somewhere and then mom is so tough on you, like, hey, what are you doing here? What's wrong with you?
No, not necessarily. Okay. Not academically. I feel like it should be tough for me if I was disrespectful or dishonest. But not necessarily if I don't do well in academics.
This is amazing because you know the system. The system is so tough. You fail, you are canned. You fail, you're subject to some funny punishments. But now let's talk about the values. Let's talk about the values. You know, at the end of the day, you're trying to nurture them, but the discipline. I can see. Even from this conversation, there's some order and discipline in it. So look at the values. How do you inculcate also this as much as you're trying to now school them?
And that also comes when they're even doing their work. Because number one, we have a timetable. So you don't just wake up when you want. Of course, absolutely. They need to have, they set their own pages, the number of pages they want to do. School starts at 8:30, depending on, your home. We give 4 to 5 hours to the pacework, and then of course they'll also have time for the extracurricular if they are needing to practice the piano and so on and so forth. And even the biblical aspect of the training comes even in their paces, because they address various issues even in their paces, and memorizing of scripture and so on, and they learn about 60 character traits by the time they are done. And the character traits, I think you know them, like the appreciation, being honest, and so on and so forth. They are all over 60 that they are learning throughout their school period. Yes.
Okay,
and that is now repeated again and again, of course, and as the tutor or the parent, you just ensure that is being done. And it informs their decision. You see, at the end of the day, they still need to make a choice whether they want to follow how you've taught them or not, know, and so on and so forth. So I feel it's a lot of informing how they are going to live even when they leave and go to college or wherever. Yes.
When a school bus comes for your neighbor's child at 5:30 a.m. or 5 a.m., how do you feel? The child is asleep at that time. He wakes up maybe at 7 a.m., prepares breakfast, then his class starts at 8 a.m. But the other kid woke up at 4 a.m. going to, like...
And that is something open to debate, but I feel that it is very important for good learning to happen, that children get enough sleep. Really. And I think that was a challenge for us because we lived all the way in Kitengela. The good schools were in Nairobi. By the way, we tried it. There was a school that was offering AC curriculum in the city, but we spent like 4 hours on the road. It did not make sense that we, and walk the children very early. So I think it is something that a parent needs to reevaluate.
Yeah, sure.
For a child to wake up at 4:30, I don't know what time they slept, but it affects their learning. You know, they need to be at total rest to be able to learn best.
Mark Smith mentioned that he has cousins who sometimes they come in to the house, they interact. But look at the social angle, whereby, of course, as much as the sports, they need to interact with other kids
Absolutely.
out there. Now, to learn even the values, even trying to gel with other kids.
Yes,
yes. What do you think about that?
So one of the arms of now, because we are under a particular umbrella called Ox Academy, we offer also social functions and events that we organize. That's why we are actually divided into regions, where we have like community services, we have sports days, we have field trips, and this allows children to also interact within, you know, with their peers.
Life skills also.
Absolutely, yes. So that is happening at the same time. It's not all school. We have all these other activities that are planned throughout the year that we encourage parents to bring their children. Some of them have small groups within their estates, so they can have their games and so on and so forth, and that encourages interaction. Yes, but you can already tell the person they spend the most time with are the parents. So socialization still happens.
It's true that.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Joseph, looking at even your lineage of production, music production, passion for music, have you met maybe some of your mentors who you feel like, yeah, I want to be like this person? You're looking forward to be like them. Maybe who's that?
I've not really had a mentor, but I've had really a few of my piano teachers who have made it. They've really mentored me. Yeah, so I really can't name names. But that's
you're looking forward to be like them.
Yes, I'm looking forward to be like them.
Talking about sports, sports science, you mentioned very clearly, Mark, that it's something that you really need to understand your player, the dynamics of even training, how it can impact them. But you also want to be a coach.
Yes.
Have you ever tried to accept failure? Because now, who's your favorite coach?
Pep Guardiola.
Pep Guardiola.
Yes.
Or sometimes he loses matches.
Yes.
Yeah, I know he wins so much, but let's take an example of Jose Mourinho. He used to manage Manchester United, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, he failed terribly. He was fired. do you accept failure?
Failure is part of being a coach. If you can't accept it, then don't do your job.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. So, looking at also the values now, for example, right now, you come to Switch TV and then we tell you, oh, Mark, we are sorry we couldn't take you on air today because we have some technical issues. Now, accepting failure, are you maybe trying to gel in that cocoon? What's your opinion on that?
Okay. As you said, you could not take me live because of technical issues.
Sure.
That happens many times. So
you'll
there's
understand.
no problem.
Okay. Wow. There's some aspect also of something which is so strange with the two kids. The aspect of being readiness. You know, you pose a question and they're quick with facts. So it's something that has not been so common even in the normal curriculum, whereby you pose a question to a kid and he or she will still lord for quite some time before now disseminating this. Now, communication skills. How do you do this? Because now this is so amazing, actually.
I think based on how they are learning by themselves, remember, they compete against themselves. You know, we always try to put them in a class, and so somebody else looks better, and this student tries to be that person, which is not, that's not how we were created. We are all individuals, and so that they are able to compete against themselves. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So they're always striving to do their best. I actually applaud the English curriculum of ACE. They teach them very well. Like I mentioned, how they teach them all the phonic sounds, and they do a lot of essay writing. The convention I mentioned, the one they do in 1 week, also encourages a lot of public speaking. So they have like poetry, oratory, famous speech. Yes, and you should come. It is on this year in Gristed for 1 week. It's just a wonderful forum for helping students to express what's in them. And you see now they are competing against themselves, so they are just there to do their best.
Sure.
You know, absolutely. So so that's what it nurtures. That's what the curriculum nurtures. And so when you speak to them, they actually produce what is in them. A child cannot produce what is in, you know, they can't produce what is not in them. And so the English they have learned, the things they've been exposed to in the curriculum actually helps them. And just, you know, growing in an environment where they're praised, you know, whatever it is they're doing. And so the confidence also comes. You don't have a teacher comparing you and saying, why are you not like so-and-so? And many times that's what actually makes these children lose their self-esteem, because they cannot be like that, you know, whoever who was number one. And so whoever who was number one is the one who seems to be, you know, receiving all the praise. And so you can actually raise students that have very low self-worth, yet they can be very good if they are given the right environment and thrive when they are nurtured.
As you're ending up, 2 questions. How do you balance between, do you have your daily job and homeschooling? How do you balance that? And another question is, parents watching right now, they feel like, is it cheap, or will I be using a lot of resources again to make sure I achieve this?
I think just like, let me address the issue of the economics. Like I said, depending on what it is you're investing in your child, education will always have a cost.
It's true.
You know, so I don't want to say it's cheap or expensive. A parent needs to make the decision for themselves depending on their economy. But yet, at the same time, you're talking of investing. You see, when you're talking of investing, you want to invest well to be able to say, I did my best for my child. Yes. And the other question was
balancing between now your daily routine.
That is my job.
Wow.
Yes, I wake up in the morning going to do that. He's actually the last one. So, and he's just completed his grade 9. He wants now, because I can't teach music. Now we are looking for a channel where he can go and do the music, maybe a BTEC program or somewhere else where he can be taught the music. But that is my job.
For a parent who wants to reach you, how can they reach you? Because now some parents might be interested in this. It can reach me or reach the office, the ACE office. It's 0725. I'll give you the number. Yes. So just say, you haven't crammed the number.
I haven't memorized it.
No problem, no problem. Thank you so much for coming. A life member of the Kenya Red Cross. Congratulations once again. We are proud of you. You know, being a life member is not easy, but still, guys are actually embracing it, and he's actually a very good poet also. We're really proud of him. And Joseph, all the best in your music endeavor. I'll dream one day to meet you as a producer out here. And thank you so much for coming, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
You're doing a good job. And consistency, that's the key. You're doing a good job. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. I just want to say that you can reach the AC office, actually, at Garden Estate. So if you Google Accelerated Christian Education, they'll be able to get the AC office at Garden Estate.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
All right.
Thank you.
Wow, interesting. Some of us could. You know, we always like to lisoma shule ya ngumbaru. And trust me, it's never been easy. But I wish most parents could take this angle, because at the same time, our education system is actually very questionable. Anyway, CBC is coming. Let's see how it will help our kids. We're taking a short break. We'll be coming back in a few. So stay tuned to Morning Live.